This is a game that has a peaceful world and a simplistic art style that anybody can enjoy. Starting with you chopping down your first tree, learning the deep intricacies of the game, and eventually automating or just completely skipping tedious parts of the game. Of course, I'm talking about my Autonauts. Yeah, Autonauts. Peaceful world, simplistic art style. Chop down your first tree, then you learn the deep intricacies. Automate and completely skip tedious parts of the game. What do you think I was going to talk about? Autonauts is a game developed by Denki, a Scottish game developer famous for creating games such as Word Quest. It was published by Curve Games, the same Curve Games that published Human Fall Flat, so you can tell that they know what they're doing. Basically, in short, you are an astronaut and you have to colonize a planet using robots and whatever you can get your hands on. How you approach Autonauts depends on the game mode that you choose. For example, settlements. It's like the easy mode. All you need to do is create a colony that addresses the needs and wants of your folk. The thing that sets it apart is that it has a 300 bot limit, but lacks some of the harder parts of the game. Even though you can turn off the 300 bot limit and just play easy Autonauts, but that's not important. The important part is that it's good for new players, I would say. I don't know. It's really easy for me to get into and play every day. Also, important to note that it's actually like a relatively new addition. In the fully automated update of 2023, they added this. This wasn't here before 2023, and this game has been out for since 2019. Put it up on screen. You have settlements, and then there's enlightenment, which is kind of like the hard mode. On top of doing all you need to do with your folk, you also need to create, put them into an evolved society. I don't know what that actually entails. I've never gotten that far because it's really hard. You have to do a lot more. You need to charge robots, and it adds a whole bunch of
new crops that you need to harvest. And that's really, really all I know. Because
it's really hard. Mushrooms specifically are really hard to get. It's also the old default setting. As I stated before, settlement was only added after 2023, so if you wanted to play real Autonauts, you only had Enlightenment. I wouldn't recommend it, but nobody's stopping you, man. Go ahead. Other than the two basic ones, there's free mode, which is like, I don't know, the easier mode? The easier mode? Okay, let me explain. Basically, what you usually need to do is use a research station to unlock things, and in free mode, you have everything unlocked from the start. Smart and experienced players can take advantage of it the most, since, they know how to use all of those unlocks effectively. You see, I'm not smart. Anyways, I'd recommend it for players that have already beaten the game, or you could just be smart, I wouldn't know. The last game mode I want to mention is creative mode. You get what you want when you want it. It's probably what I'm going to be using to record most of the clips. By far, the most important part of the game are the bots. The bots are what let you automate everything. And they work with code. It looks like scratch coding. And you record it by pressing the record button, doing the actions that you want it to do, and then it will be put in there. The efficiency of your bots depend on mark numbers of your parts and upgrades. Let me explain what I mean by mark numbers. You have a Mark 0 head that just has basic memory, a basic 12 by 12 sensor. Nothing special. and then a Mark III head, which is do whatever you want, all the memory in the world, and there are three components that have marks. Like I said, head, which is for the sensor and memory, the bod, which is for strength and backpack storage, and the drive, which is for speed and charge if you're on enlightenment. And the upgrades can make your already enhanced robots more enhanced, or just give a boost to like a Mark Zero. Only one level of a type of upgrade can be put in at a time. You can't put in both 2 super speed upgrades or a super and a good upgrade. You can only put in 1 speed upgrade. The amount of upgrades that you can equip depend on the bod you have. So Mark 0 you only have 1, Mark 1 and 2 you only have 2 upgrades, Mark 3 you have 3 upgrades. Let me give you a rundown on what the start game looks like. You start by being a lumberman, cutting stuff down, making your first robots, automate lumber, and then automate stone. Those are the 2 most important things in the entire game. Believe me, I would know. Besides automating lumber and stone, you just need to follow the task list and listen to me when I say that you need to automate everything, not just lumber and stone, everything. It'll bite you in the butt in the mid-game. More on that later. But once you get to a certain point, you'll have to deal with folk. The thing I mentioned when talking about game modes. The folk are the main goal of all the game modes except creative. You need to accommodate them because progression is based around them. Remember that research machine? It's based off of WUV. No, I'm not kidding. WUV, WUV. That's the folk produce. They power the research machine and are the only way you can progress. When all of its needs are met, it produces WUV. When I mean all of its needs, I'm gonna have to look at the stage pyramid thing that it has. So you start out at infrastructure, where you don't have any folk. Nomad community, which you just have basic folk on the ground waiting to be fed berries. Isolated dwelling, where you need to give them shelter. And then hamlets, you need to give them clothes. In village, you need to give them toys. In town, you need to give them medicine. In city, you need to give them education. Basically just books, make them read. And in Metropolis, the final stage, you need to have art. And the main problem that I mentioned earlier in mid-game, you have to improve old systems and resource sinks. Resource sinks are absolutely devastating. Flashback, like I don't know, a minute ago, I was talking about the stage pyramid. Every single time you go up a stage, the old introduction needs to be improved on. So when you go to isolated dwelling from nomad community, you need to give them new berries. When you go to hamlet, you need more expensive new berries, and you need to give them a log cabin instead of just weird log tent you give them. Same on for village, town, city, and metropolis. They all go up, and the cost is exponential. If you can't keep up with the cost of new sections and your old ones are not upgraded, they're going to slow down and stop completely, and you're going to need more resources that you don't have to upgrade just that one bit or that entire section that's just going a little bit too slow. Let me give you an example from experience. On my world, which you'll get the tour of later, I was making metal gears, and it was wasting all of my metal plates. And the metal plate maker couldn't make more because there wasn't enough metal in the storage. So I upgraded the furnace that the metal smelter was using to be more efficient. But that didn't help because there wasn't enough metal. There wasn't enough metal ore to smelt. So I made a new metal miner and upgraded the existing metal miner and metal collector. But as it turns out, I needed metal plates to make upgrades for the metal section. So I just had to wait it out, or just I had to turn off the Metal Gear Maker completely, and then my infrastructure slowed down to a halt. In the end, you'll make it out of the other side, but yeesh, it can be really demotivating. Like in a second, it's gonna smash cuts to me in my world. Hey everybody, so this is my base. I mean, I'm lying. This is part of my base. It's on like the outskirts. No, really, I just have everything in one place. It's gonna be a little bit hard to do a tour when everything is everywhere all at once. So let's start simple. Over here is where the lumber is done. Trees are cut down, put in the logs, planks, poles, and all the way over here. Yeah, over here. Poles into picks and pegs. This is where all of my stone mining is. It's surprisingly efficient. Before we go into the dips and divots of the storage area, let's take a trip along the tool making coastline. Here's the entrance to Home Depot, where we got everything. We got frames for panels and panels themselves. We got good gears, bad gears, all the gears you want. Way over here on the other side of Home Depot, there's metal gears. We get it. We accept all types of gears over here. We have fertilizer in this area. We're over here. We have WOV. We have coal storage. I think right over here. It's really hard to see, but there's paper. I'm out of paper. It needs a lot of water, and I'm out of water. Blah blah blah. You already know. Resource sink. Want panels? Boom! They're there. They recovered from the drought. You need flywheels. They're not being made anymore because it's using up all the panels. But yeah, they're there if you want it. Same thing with gritters. I've been calling them gritters the entire time. They're really stupid. That's not the point. The point is that they're not being made anymore for the same reason as the flywheel. When you look at these things, they're super expensive. Yeesh. Go over here, you get the power making area and the furnaces. There's the metal making area, and there's this powered section over here. And the work in progress section. Just I have a bunch of mansions. It's like LA. There's some clay mining over here, and across the Great Bridge, you have the metal mining area, and over here, yeah, coal mining. I think that's it. I have all my stuff in one spot. I mean, there is over here the farming section. Whenever I need hay bales, I go over here, I cut the grass, pick them with a pitchfork, and convert it into a hay bale. Dig up weeds over here. There's flourish, whatever flourish is. And right over here, this is like the closest freshwater stuff we can get, which is why we're out of it. That's it. There's nothing else here. Like this entire world, this entire plate, this entire world, I only have my stuff right over here. Anyways, on to the overall rating. Everything being taken into account, Autonauts is a really good game. I've had a lot of fun playing it, and I hope to play it more, finish that world. And I just think it's an underrated game from a studio that nobody's heard of that I think you should play. If you had fun with this one, it has a sequel. That breakdown is another talk for another day, mostly because I haven't played it that much. All the ups and downs of this game equal out because cows, they do backflips when they poop. This game is a 9 out of 10. It's close to being perfect, but I'm kind of dumb.